So Khamzat Chimaev and Paulo Costa have just been announced to be official, and I'm not going to waste y'all's time. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to get right into the nitty-gritty of this conversation. These two have had beef for quite some time now. It's been a consistent beef. They've been talking back and forth between each other, and I have to be honest, I think there's a clear-cut probable victor in this fight, and I think it's Chimaev. I really do. I think Chimaev has a scary advantage when it comes to the wrestling department, and I think that is the tool that he's going to use in this upcoming fight. I think his pressure and his wrestling are going to overwhelm Paulo and ultimately get the victory. Now, Paulo's way of victory in this fight is through knockout, and I think a lot of you probably think the same thing. Paulo is not to be slept on, especially when he's having a really good night. When Paulo is at his best, he's an extremely dangerous fighter, and I think that he's at his best when he is being aggressive, when he's punching first, when he's attacking first. And I think that that's going to be difficult for him when it comes to fighting Khamzat. I think that's the case because in order for Paulo to progress in this fight, he's going to have to move forward. And moving forward in a way increases your chances of being taken down. You can't be as calculated, because if he tries to be calculated, as in Costa, then Chimaev is just going to put on the pressure. He's just going to put on the pressure and force Paulo to move when he doesn't want to move, to be uncomfortable far more than Paulo would probably like. And because of Khamzat's more complete game, because he's also been working on his striking, I think that he has the higher probability of winning this fight. Now, when I look at these two gentlemen's past fights, I'll start with Khamzat. Khamzat did fight Kevin Holland last, and I'm sure all of you remember that he blew by Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland is not a slouch by any department, especially in the wrestling department, in the grappling department, and he just ragdolled him. Now, granted, Chimaev has been having problems cutting weight. Then he fought Gilbert Burns, which was a phenomenal fight. Gilbert Burns is not a slouch by any means. I've actually called for Gilbert Burns possibly getting the title at some point in time. Now, Gilbert Burns has kind of been on a flip-floppy road lately, and I think that he's been, I think he's been pushing himself a little bit too hard. I really do. I think that, his back-to-back fights was really rough for him, and I think that we might see Gilbert Burns return back to his dominant self, but I think that he needs to take a little bit of a breather. But going back to Khamzat, he fought Lee. Did the same thing to Lee. He blew by Lee, and after that, they've all just been crushing wins. I don't think that Khamzat has really fought a bunch of notable mentions. I think Kevin Holland and Gilbert Burns are two huge notable mentions, and that's no dig at Lee. I think Lee's a solid fighter. But if we're talking about top contenders, if we're talking about people who are notably dangerous, Kevin Holland and Gilbert Burns is a solid start. And so I think that Khamzat has been calling out for title shots and all these crazy things, and I don't think that his record that is presented to me and that's presented to all of us grants that sort of call out. But I do think fighting Paulo Costa will push him one step closer towards that title contention that he's been really barking for. Now, if we go to Paulo Costa, his past fights, he fought Luke Rockhold, which was a very good fight, but this is also a Luke Rockhold that I think that is past his prime. If we're talking about a Luke Rockhold of maybe 2013, 2014, this might be a different story. I think Luke Rockhold is definitely past his prime at this point when it comes to fight years, but it was a great fight. He lost to Marvin Vettori. He lost to Izzy. And, we all know what happened to him against Izzy. Izzy hit him with that sharp hook, put him out. And I think Paulo, again, one of his best strengths is being aggressive, and he was not aggressive against Izzy. He was pretty timid, understandably timid against Izzy, because when it comes to the striking department, Izzy's is on a different level. We're talking about top two. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Top two best strikers in the UFC currently, maybe to ever be in the UFC. Period. And so that's to be understood. But when he is being timid, that is when he's at his worst. He's not using the power. He's not using his explosiveness. He's not being aggressive. Therefore, those two aspects of his game are not being utilized to the fullest of potential. He fought a damn good fight against Yoel Romero. He fought Uriah Hall. He beat Yoel Romero, by the way. He beat Uriah Hall. He beat Johnny Hendricks. And those are the notable mentions that I think that should be highlighted in Paulo's career. And so I think this would also be a huge win for Paulo if he was able to pull this one out. But I think it's unlikely, people. I think this is a terrible matchup for Paulo. And so if I had to put my money on it, I would give it to Khamzat, probably somewhere in the second, third round. I'm going to go second round, mid-second round by some sort of submission. And yeah, Khamzat is very dangerous. I really do think that his only kryptonite right now is making weight. And we will see what happens. So comment down below what you guys think. Who do you think is going to win this fight? How do you think this fight's going to go? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on the channel. It really does help this channel grow. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.